Southeastern Louisiana University has adopted the stance of real-world ready for its graduates. What this means is Southeastern would like its students to be prepared not only with knowledge, but with hands-on experience when they get into the real world. But why does this start in college? The transition from graduating high school and into the real world is a very difficult and terrifying one. When a student graduates, they're expected to be a functioning adult of society. By making it mandatory for junior and senior level students to complete a life skills class in which they're taught basics such as doing their taxes, maintaining a home, taking care of children, the development of children, they will able to succeed better and handle life's difficulties. I moved from Fredericksburg, Virginia in 2010. While I was a sophomore at Mountain View High School, I took this class called Family Planning. It was mandatory, and we were taught these kind of life skills. This class focused more on child rearing and family dynamics, but it gave me a knowledge base. When I moved to Baton Rouge, nothing like this was offered or even taught in the high schools. So sure, high school students are taught how to do algebra and science, and that's great, but they're not taught how to be fully functioning adults. From a social worker standpoint, according to the Jim Casey Youth Opportunity Initiative, 26,000 foster kids age out of foster care every year. Foster care social workers work diligently to make sure that these people who are forced to live independently when they turn 18 years old have the right tools necessary, that way they can succeed. But why only foster children? As a future parent, I want what's best for my child. This means I want them to be set up for success, not for poverty, homelessness, and abuse. I proposed creating a class that would run for a regular school year. It would go along the same lines as an adult's life, so starting with something basic up to when they have children. This would begin with getting a job. When I worked at McDonald's, I scanned hundreds of applications, and there were errors throughout them. There would be misspelled words, there would be emails that were not appropriate, they were not professional, there would be bad grammar, spaces left blank. I believe that these students lost the opportunity to be employed because they didn't know how to fill out an application. The instructor of this class would be required to teach the students how to complete an application. They would do this by having mock applications. Along with being taught how to complete a job application, they also need to be taught how to find a job, so by the internet or with a newspaper. After being hired, an employee is expected to behave a certain way. This kind of professionalism skills such as being punctual, calling in advance if you're going to be late or if you're not going to come in, handling disagreements with your superiors, managing a schedule, and leaving a job on good terms are all things that employees should know, but my experience as a manager has shown that very few know how to do this. The second responsibility that I and several of my peers have struggled with is buying a car. Buying a car was one of the most stressful experiences of my life. I didn't know anything about interest rate or about what kind of car to look for, what kind of gas or automatic or manual or anything that I would need to know in order to purchase a car that was right for me. Thankfully, my dad was my car salesman. But even though he was my salesman, I still messed up. Whenever you purchase a car, you're required, if you're paying a note on it, you're required to have full coverage. Well, I didn't know that. So I purchased liability, got in an accident, and was forced to pay it out of pocket. If I had been educated on that I needed to have full coverage insurance, then I could have avoided this, and it took up a year of my life. Applying for insurance is also extremely difficult. When applying on Progressive.com, you're asked things like, how much would you like your deductible to be? Do you want comprehensive insurance? Do you want collision insurance? Do you want roadside assistance? And do you want to pay a little bit extra in order to have a rental car? All of my peers and I have agreed that we don't know, the first time that we filled this out, we didn't know what any of those things were. I'm 22 years old now. I've had insurance for 2 years and I'm still unaware of what I would have to pay if I were ever to get into an accident. One of the biggest components of being an adult is a credit score. You can't buy a house or a car or take out a loan if you need to without this credit score. But when are you taught what's a credit score? How do you get one? How do you improve it? What's it do? How do you look it up? This is another topic that until 2 years ago I had no knowledge of. In fact, when I bought my first car, I had a 24% interest rate because I had no credit whatsoever. In order to have a good credit score, you have to be able to balance your bills, which means you need a budget. Teaching students how to budget seems like a simple thing. You think that if you don't have the money, don't spend it, but it's actually a lot more complex than that. When asking children from my youth group what kind of bills they thought they would have to pay when they graduate, almost all of them, 75% of them to be exact, forgot about electricity, they forgot about car insurance, and they forgot about cable, and also about gas. The next thing is maintaining a household. Maintaining a household encompasses cleaning laundry as well as preparing meals and creating a meal plan. In the long run, buying groceries and making your own meals is a lot cheaper than going out and eating. But a lot of people don't know how to create their own meals because they're never taught to. Where we live now, everything is fast food, everything is fast. You can go get anything you want to for $5, but it's not very healthy. By teaching a child how to cook, the dependency that they have on other people is reduced significantly. The last skill that they should be taught involves their future and their children. I've gained a knowledge base on how to care for a child and about their basic milestones, both from my own experiences and from my higher education. Teaching a student the seriousness of becoming a parent, meeting their basic needs, and what to expect of an age is crucial to their success. In many cases, children are abused because of their parents' frustration from not knowing where that child is supposed to be in development, or how to care for a child, or how to change a diaper, something simple that you would think that everyone knows. This could even start a cycle of abuse in the family that is very difficult to break. For instance, when a toddler is 9 months old, and the parent has little knowledge of when a child is supposed to walk and talk and crawl, and they see another child that's about the same age, about 9 months old, and they're like, oh, well, this kid is doing it, but my kid's not. They might become frustrated and act out and act violently. Parenting is hard enough without adding that difficulty of not knowing the basics and what to be aware of. Child safety is also very important. If you haven't learned much about children and you don't have any prerequisites to becoming a parent, you don't know certain precautions like that you need baby gates. By not educating young future parents how to keep young children safe, a child could be injured, and in the worst case scenario, they could be killed. My belief is that by mandating this type of class, youth will be more prepared whenever they graduate high school. They will be less dependent on people, they will be less dependent on their parents, and they'll be able to succeed and go to higher education with little help from their parents. If this doesn't happen, we set up future generations for a life of difficulty that could be otherwise avoided.